Hello, hello. How's it going? This is over here with Big Squatchin TV. Just gonna go ahead and change out some inner sleeves on my dragon deck here today. Figured go through the deck, talk about it, just kinda chill. Yeah, it's the Ur Dragon. It didn't start out as that. It started out as what was that? Baldur's Gate Precon, the Rondrus or whatever. But got I think like 36 lands in here. It's like 8 basics. Got 2 mountains, got a lot of red, 1 plain, double island, double forest, and a swamp. Then we got a couple shop lands, breeding pool, stomping grounds, steam vents. Always great. Got these guys, these M13s, they check if you got another land of the type. Rootbound Crag, Dragon Skull Summit. And you got a couple channel lands from Kamigawa, Seiju and Otwara, both great. Then we got these that just check if you have 2 or more other lands. Nothing specific, no basics or anything. Got a couple of fetch lands here. Wooded Foothills, Bloodstained Mire, Arid Mesa, Verdant Catacombs. And we got a few lands that potentially could tap for many or multiple colors. Sonic Orchard, Haven of the Spirit Dragon. That one going with the dragons will add any color for a dragon or colorless. Or I can return a dragon from my graveyard by sacrificing it. Secluded Courtyard, kind of like the Cavern of Souls. You're going to choose a creature type, and then that mana can only be used to cast the creature or activate an ability of a creature of that type. Cavern of Souls, everybody knows, can tap for any color for that creature type, and it can't be countered. Path of Ancestry comes in tap, but it's going to add a mana of any color in your commander's identity, so any color you care about. And then if it shares a creature type with your commander, you get the Scribe. We got a Command Tower, got a Proxy dual land, little National Park Taiga there. We got a few Triumph, Rafine's Tower, Rogren Triumph, Inditha Triumph, Xander's Lounge, and Jetmir's Garden. So, you know, that's less exciting stuff. So, going in over here, we got some sorceries. Got split up by categories here, so all this is ramp. Got Farseek, Rampant Growth, 3 Visits, Cultivate, Sylvan Scrying, and Kodama's Reach. Which, any of those, anything to get you there when you're playing guys that cost you, 10, 11, 12 mana. And then we got Shamanic Revelation for some card draw and life gain. Most creatures we got have greater than 4 power. Then we get into some of the creatures here, some of the fun stuff. We got, this is all the dragons. Let's go through the non-dragons first. So these ones, just mana reducers, but they're great. Cheap, 3 and 2 mana for 2 and 1 mana reduction, on top of what our commander in the command zone gives us. Then this one's just some dragon value. This is part of the of the original deck of the Precon. Every upkeep we get to make a dragon token. Then we got a few enchantments, some more card draw, or card advantage related. Lurking Predators. Whenever opponents cast a spell, reveal the top card of your library. If it's a creature, put it on the battlefield. Otherwise, you may put it on the bottom. Greater Good. Sack a creature, draw cards equal to its power, then discard 3. Heuristic Study. Everybody's favorite. Are you going to pay the 1? Whenever an opponent casts a spell, you may draw a card unless they pay 1. Then we got Guardian Project. Whenever a non-token creature ETBs under your control, if it doesn't have the same name as another creature you control or a creature in your graveyard, draw a card. Convenient for Commander. Then we got Smothering Tithe for some mana out of the enchantment. And these guys are just some value back here. Cathar's Crusade. Whenever a creature ETBs under your control, put a 1/1 counter on each creature you control. And then creature spells you control can't be countered. Rhythm of the Wild is awesome. And then non-token creatures you control also have Riot, which they can enter with a 1/1 counter or with haste. We got a couple instants here, not much. We got Kindred Discovery for 7 mana. We're going to choose dragons, reveal cards from the top of our library until we reveal as many dragons as we control, and put all those on the battlefield, and then shuffle the rest into the library. Then Noxious Revival, some good recursion. Then on the artifacts, got a couple mana rocks here with Soul Ring, Arcane Signet, Chromatic Lantern to fix all the lands, Timeless Lotus, gives us one of each. It's a little slow, but some games it doesn't hurt you. It helps a lot until it gets bounced every turn. Then these ones are kind of in between mana advantage, card advantage. Herald's Horn is a great tribal card. Creatures of the chosen type cost 1 less. Then at the beginning of your upkeep, look at the top card of your library. If it's a creature of the chosen type, you may reveal it and put it in your hand. Then you got the Dragon's Horde. Whenever a dragon enters the battlefield under your control, put a gold counter on it. Tap it to remove a gold counter from it and draw a card, or tap it and add a mana. Then way back here we got Home of the Host. After this was a Vrondrus deck, it got changed into, what's her name, Miriam, the Sentinel Worm. And her just making copies of everyone. You put this on her, and then you get 12 copies of her, making 12 copies of everybody else. It's a different way to play dragons, but it's great. Then we'll get to the dragons. So, Utvara Hellkite. He's 6/6, and whenever a dragon you control attacks, you make a 6/6 flying dragon with creature token of it. Ojutai, Soul of the Winter, 5 white and a blue. He's a 5/6 with flying, vigilance, and whenever a dragon you control attacks, tap target non-land permanent an opponent controls. That permanent doesn't untap during its controller's next untap step. Atarka, a little simple one, flying trample. When a dragon you control attacks, it gains double strike. Cure of the Boundless Sky, flying death touch. When he dies, search your library for up to 3 land cards, reveal them, put them in your hand and shuffle. Or create an XX green spirit creature token where X is the number of lands you control. Not great, but he's a dragon, so he can sit in there for now. And here's the one I was talking before, Miriam, Sentinel Worm. Flying in Ward 2. Whenever another non-token dragon ETBs under your control, create a token that's a copy of it. except the token isn't legendary if that dragon is legendary. So when you put this with the Helm of the Hose, at the beginning of your combat, you make a new Miriam every turn. And say you've got 5 Miriams, you go to play, your next dragon, and now not only do you have this one coming in and doing whatever he does or extra benefit, but then you have that going off 5 other times as long as it wasn't a cash trigger, so it can win you the game pretty easily, but it doesn't always have to be used like that. It can just be used to have a party there. You got Kyodai, Soul of Kamigawa. Flash and Flying, when he ETBs another target permanent you control, gains indestructible as long as you control him. Then you can pay WUBRG and he gets +5/+5 till the end of turn. Atsushi the Blazing Sky. Flying Trample, when he dies, exile top 2 cards of your library until the next turn you may play those, or create 3 treasure tokens. Amarith the Lustrous. I had another deck for this one, but that was enchantment, so that was a lot of fun. Whenever another permanent ETBs under your control, look at the top card of your library. If it shares a card type with that permanent, you may reveal that card and put it in your hand. So, every time you play a dragon, you're going to look at the top card. If it's another dragon, he goes in your hand. Hellkite Courser, he's going to cheat your commander out for a turn. When he ETBs, you may put a commander you own from the command zone onto the battlefield. It gains haste, return it to the command zone at the beginning of the next end step. Zeatora the Incinerator. At the beginning of your end step, you may sack another creature. When you do, Zeatora the Incinerator deals damage equal to that creature's power to any target, and you create 3 treasures. If you get all these tokens rolling, it's pretty useful. He's alright when you're sacking some of your own creatures, but when you get the tokens going, that's when it's really good. Thunderbreak Regent. Whenever a dragon you would control becomes target of a spell or ability opponent controls, Thunderbreak Regent deals 3 damage to that player. Croesus the Purger. Whenever he deals combat damage to a player, you may pay 2 and a black. If you do, choose a color. That player reveals his or her hand and discards all cards of that color. It's really brutal whenever you're playing against someone playing a mono-color deck. We got an Earthquake Dragon here. He's going to cost X less to cast, where X is total mana value of dragons you control. Doesn't hardly get up there. He's Flying Trample, 10/10. Pay 2 and a green, sack a land, return them from your graveyard to your hand. Nothing too special, he's just a big body. Get some triggers. Bellatrix Witherbloom. Every upkeep you make a 1/1 black and green pest. When this creature dies you gain 1 life. Then you can pay 10 life, untap all lands you control, but you can activate that only once a turn. Now he can also help you win games too. Scourge of Valkis. Whenever he or another dragon enters battlefield under your control, it deals X damage to any target, where X is the number of dragons you control. Simple, brutal, goes great with the copying dragons. Ridiculous. Icing Death Frost Tyrant. Whenever he dies, you create a legendary white equipment. I've never done it. He's in there just because he came with the secret layer and he looks nice. Ebendeth Dracolich? Ebendeth Dracolich? I don't know. He's also in there because he came with a secret layer. Nothing really special to him. He's got flash, goes well with Terror of the Peaks. Terror of the Peaks. Anybody that tries to target Terror of the Peaks is going to pay 3 life in addition to the mana cost or whatever of the spell. Whenever another creature ETBs under your control, Terror of the Peaks deals damage up to that creature's power to any target. We got Tiamat. It's going to go out. You're going to search your library for 5 dragons not named Tiamat that have different names, reveal them, put them in your hand, and shuffle. It's great for filling your hand back up. Skyship Stalker. I don't know, he's come in handy the first couple turns. With the reducer from the commander and stuff, you can get him out relatively early. You can pay a red for each of these abilities. He gets 1-0 until the end of turn, he gains first strike until the end of turn, or he gains haste until the end of turn. We got Rith, Liberated Primeval. Flying Ward 2, and he gives all your dragons Ward 2. Then, on top of that, at the beginning of your end step, if a creature or planeswalker an opponent controlled was dealt excess damage this turn, create a 4/4 red dragon creature token with flying. Then we got Savage Ventmaw. Whenever he attacks, you add 3 red and 3 green. Until the end of the turn, you don't lose mana as steps and phases in. Terror of Mount Velis. Flying Double Strike. Whenever Terror of Mount Velis enters battlefield, creatures you control gain double strike until the end of turn. Jugan the Rising Star. Whenever he dies, you may distribute 5 counters, 5 1/1 counters, among any number of target creatures. Shivan Hellkite. Not great, but the fire breathing kind of helps out. Pay 1 in the red, deals 1 damage to any target. Lozan, Dragon's Legacy. Whenever you cast an adventure or a dragon, this card deals damage equal to that spell's mana value to any target that isn't a commander. It's like a weird restriction, but still get to do some damage, which is always fun. Whenever a source you control deals 5 or more damage to a player, draw a card. Dragonborn Champion. You deal 5 or more a lot, so it's fun to draw cards. Ganix Astral Hunter. Whenever he or another dragon ETBs under your control, create a treasure. You do that all the time. Old Gnawbone. More treasure. Whenever a creature you control deals combat damage to a player, create that many treasure tokens. Wonderful. Corlessa, Scales Singer. You may look at the top card of your library anytime, and you may cast dragons from the top of your library. Just great. Hands run low, and you got a bigger hand. Horde Smelted Dragon. You can pay 3 and a red to destroy an artifact, then he gets plus XO until the end of the turn, where X is where artifact's mana value. It's some counter removal. They don't run a lot in this deck, just because of all the dragons and more creature based than anything else, but it's there. Inferno the Starmount. Can't be countered. Flying Haste. You can pay a red. He gets plus 1/0 until the end of the turn. When it becomes 20, it deals 20 damage to any target. Bowgarden Hellkite. When he ETBs, it deals 5 damage divided as you choose among any number of targets. Clout, Unrivaled Ancient. Flying Haste. Whenever he attacks, add X mana in any combination of colors where X is the total power of attacking creatures. Spend this mana only to cast spells. Until the end of the turn, you don't lose mana as steps and phases in. That was the secondary commander for the original deck that this was. We got Imrith, Desert Doom. Has ward 4 as long as it's untapped. Whenever he deals combat damage to a player, draw cards, and if you have fewer than 3 cards in hand, draw cards equal to the difference. Wrathful Red Dragon. Whenever a dragon you control is dealt damage, it deals that much damage to any target that isn't a dragon. And lastly, we have Scion of Draco. He's got Domain, so he costs 2 less to cast for each basic land type among lands you control. With the triomes and everything, I can typically get him out all the way reduced by turn 2 or 3, like reliably. Each creature you control has vigilance if it's white, hexproof if it's blue, lifelink if it's black, first strike if it's red, and trample if it's green. So just nice little boost for the whole team there. So we're just going to be trading out the inner sleeves on these today. Got my buddy Luke getting these Prismatic Defenders Holographic Perfect Fits. So we got them on another deck, but they just give a nice little bit of pizzazz. Don't know how they'll show up on camera. I think you can kind of see that there. We'll throw them on the Ur Dragon and see if that helps any. There we go. A little bit of pizzazz. This Ur Dragon's a proxy, as you can probably tell. I like proxies. So, let me get started on this boring part here. Probably gonna fast forward. I'm probably just gonna beat the shit out of my tripod the whole time I'm doing this. So now, I will say that these, they don't have the best feel to them, but yeah, they can be on the inside, so that's mostly fine. But they do feel a little bit. I normally use the Dragon Shield sealables or the side load inners, and it is a big difference. And the holographic part is only on one side. So you do gotta pay attention when you sleeve them, or you'll be like, I thought I bought the holographic ones. Where is it? What's going on? They look good before I put them on the card. There we go, guys. All done. That's pretty cool. I like them. Give them a nice little look. Alright. Let me know what you think about the deck. I think it's a lot to play. It's definitely, not. But like I said, it's fun to play. And anybody that was wanting to play something similar, I'd highly recommend it. And how can you go wrong with Decent Dragons? Anyway, let me know what you thought. Let me know what you'd like to see next. And then we'll be seeing you.